Good evening and welcome to Newsbite. I'm Andrew Turner and making the headlines today. We find out what's been happening at Shape. The National Trust gives us an update on the island's Wirebird population. Big waves hitting St Helena this week. And we have your weekly sports roundup. Shape is St Helena's first and only social enterprise scheme. Their aim is to provide opportunities for disabled and vulnerable adults on the island. The last year has seen the completion of many projects which will help and develop Shape's services. Shape's manager Leanne Henry told us about some of them.
Okay, so Shape continues to be very busy. At the moment we still have 15 trainees attending both the in between the Sandy Bay Centre and the Recycling Centre over at Donkey Plain. We also have 12 Karasi clients that comes into Shape every other week. Their times are mixed to make sure that the 12 can be spread over the week, so they all got the opportunity to come into Shape. We continue to produce local products, and we have been very, very busy with that. In particular, we've been busy with recycling products. We just recently had an order to produce recycle bins. We've also been very busy in our creative section. We are trying to fulfill orders both locally and internationally. We've just finished an order for New Zealand that's being posted today. We've also had quite a bit of interest with our aloe products, and that has been from local businesses and also from businesses who are trying to get off the ground, who's also inquiring whether we could make aloe products in terms of picnic baskets. So we're hoping that that's gonna take off. So in regard to our production, it's going really, really well so far. We recently had our license for our cafe, and so over the next couple of months we will be looking to try and get the cafe off the ground. We have just recently hosted a lunch party with the CCC clients, and we also hosted a tea party for the Cape Villa clients as well, which also went down very well, and we are hoping to progress further and offer such things as coffee mornings, possibly lunches for not only for the Shape but for outside in the local community as well. As we just recently advertised as well, we've had the introduction of our new wheelchair access vehicle, and that has been a treat to Shape and to our clients. And in the long term, we're hoping that we can bring in more severely disabled clients into Shape by having the use of that new wheelchair car. With our Karasi program, we are hoping to have a new member of staff coming in March, which means, and we also just if I can just say that we've also recently upgraded one of our rooms in the Sandy Bay Centre, and which is now a designated area for the Karasi clients. And so with the introduction of a new room and the introduction of a new social support officer, we're looking to increase our clients in that area. So we're hoping by in the next 6 months that we will have at least up to 20 clients coming into Shape. And of course we will have activities for planned activities for them, so they get the benefit of coming into Shape. And also we're of course we have the Donkey Playing Centre that we can tap into to give them a bit of variety and what they can actually get out of Shape. So that is the two main highlights for the year so far. The Shape board is also planning a strategic planning day in the very near future, which the board themselves has taken forward, and they will publicize and market within the next couple of weeks.
Each year, the St Helena National Trust carries out a census on the Wirebird population. This year's results show that the population is still increasing at a slow but steady rate. Reporter Damien O'Bey spoke to Wirebird officer Denny Leo and communications and shop manager for the National Trust, Kylie Hercules.
Denny and Kylie, important time of the year for the National Trust and the Wirebird conservation effort. You've just completed the 2016 census. Maybe if we start with you, Denny. What is the overall count of numbers we had this year?
The overall count was 572 adults as compared to 539 last year.
All right.
559, sorry, last year.
Okay. Would it be fair to say that conservation efforts still paying off, and you guys, the Wirebird is steadily on the increase in numbers?
I'd say that the conservation work is paying off, and the numbers year by year are increasing slowly. Yeah.
Alrighty. Another thing I noticed from your actual press release, Danny, was that there's a few areas with increased numbers of like breeding pairs and birds, and also there's a few that have suffered in terms of last year's count. Can you tell us a little bit more about these?
Well, I think the drought has an impact on the upper Prosperous Bay area. So like Prosperous Bay Basin is good, because if you think about it, the birds originated in Prosperous Bay. So it would have been the basin where they would have been originally from. So numbers in the basin is good, but outside of the basin, because of the drought, the numbers are down. But you will see from Deadwood that the numbers in Deadwood are up.
Okay. Alright, so Kylie, last year you guys counted 86 juveniles, 52 chicks and 55 nests. I've seen here from the stats that you guys have released so far is that this year those numbers have gone down. What does this mean for the Wirebird conservation effort?
So what could be possibly from that is that next year we won't see as many adults from that. We hope to see like more juveniles, more chicks, and then therefore next year we can see more adults. Probably next year we won't see as many as, we will still have our same number, but probably we won't see as many increased as we did this year. Okay.
And is there any one reason you could attribute to why you've given these low numbers?
Well, I think it's partly due to the drought, and then obviously the birds they like picking at stuff, and if there's no greenery, then there's nothing for them to feed off, so they will move, and then that obviously will affect them with their breeding. So
moving on now, the continued efforts, because like we said, you guys have been out trapping feral cats, even habitat rehabilitation. What's next in terms of trying to continue the conservation effort to ensure that the Wirebird population increases?
I think this year we were going to do some habitat clearing, but obviously with the drought, most of the stuff is dried off anyway. So I think our next big effort is going to be minor birds and rabbits.
Yeah. Because
minor birds like to sort of attack chicks, and rabbits are destroying the ground that they lay on. If you go to Netley Garden in Deadwood, you will see a rabbit population of maybe 100 or plus. So we really need to combat rabbits and minor birds, which I think is going to be our next step.
Okay, great.
Northwesterly swells of up to 3 to 4 metres were forecasted to hit St Helena's coastline from 2 p.m. on Monday the 20th of February. The forecast prompted SHG to issue a severe weather warning, and residents were advised to take care when visiting the seaside and to avoid parking there. The swells did hit but weren't as big as forecasted. Here's a short clip that SAMS uploaded to YouTube showing the waves with some dramatic music thrown in for good measure. Here now is your sports roundup.
In cricket, Western B Warriors and Sandy Bay Pirates contested the final game of the league on Saturday afternoon. Sandy Bay Pirates picked up a convincing victory in a low-scoring match which took them to 5th place in the overall league standings. On Sunday, Zodiacs and St Paul's B contested a preliminary round fixture in the 2017 25-over knockout tournament. St Paul's batted first and set an imposing target of 190. Cliff Richards produced a knock of 83, which was the standout performance of the match. Zodiacs got close during the run chase and found themselves needing 26 of the final 2 overs. But with all of the experienced batsmen back in the pavilion, they fell just short, and St Paul's B will now advance to the quarterfinals. The ladies moved into week 2 of their volleyball season on Sunday. In the first match, Volley Diggers won in 2 straight sets over Boise ladies. Volley Diggers and Nell Hayward was lady of the match. The second match was a much closer affair. Lady of the match Sasha Bargo led the survivors come back in their match against St. Sadas. Having lost the first set by a sizable margin, survivors upped their game and took the second set and then edged a close final set to take the points.
Well, that's it for this week's Newsbite. Remember, you can still stay up to date with all the latest in current affairs by tuning in to SAMS Radio 1 and also in the Sentinel. I'm Andrew Turner and thank you all for watching.